Our hydropower strategy builds from a foundation of 2 decades of work on restoring and conserving rivers across the whole Conservancy. These sites represent some of the key places that we've worked or are still working to improve the sustainability of hydropower in North America. You can trace this work to Brian Richter's scientific leadership on environmental flows. Brian put the science of environmental flows into action, and working with people like Andy Warner and Leslie Bach in Oregon, they built a partnership with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And through this partnership, the Corps is beginning to release environmental flows to help restore downstream rivers, like shown here at the Bill Williams River in Arizona. From the work on individual dams with the Corps, we began to move towards conservation of whole river basins. Kim Lutz represents that evolution, as she previously led the work with the Corps on the Savannah River and then moved to lead the Connecticut River program, where they're building a basin-wide model to find optimal solutions that balance hydropower generation and river habitat. Continuing north, we come to the Penobscot River, where the Conservancy joined with other NGOs and the Penobscot Indian Nation to purchase 3 dams from a hydropower company. Since then, 2 of the dams have been removed and a 3rd will be bypassed. Seen here is the removal of VZ Dam. Ultimately, this collaborative effort will result in increased access to hundreds of miles of river for migratory fish, transforming how the basin works for Atlantic salmon, shad, and 10 other migratory species. Through operational and equipment changes at the Penobscot dams that do remain, the basin will actually produce slightly more energy than it did before. The Penobscot provided a clear lesson. By moving beyond the scale of a single dam and toward that of a whole system of dams, new and potentially bigger solutions could emerge. That's the concept behind our strategy called Hydropower by Design. While the Penobscot was something of a remodel, with Hydro by Design, we're trying to shape the original construction, and we're working to influence decisions about where hydropower gets developed in the first place. Through this work, we're building a new generation of leaders on hydropower for the Conservancy. People like Nelida Barajas in Mexico, and Rosario Gomez and Juliana Delgado in Colombia. In Brazil's Tapajós River, a dashing duo known only as Os Velhinhos Bonitos are working to balance hydropower development with the amazing resources and values of the Tapajós and other Amazonian rivers. You may know the 2 as Paulo Petri and Arnaldo Carneros. In Africa, we're just starting a program in Gabon's Ogwe River Basin, led by Marie-Claire Pais and Colin Apps. Here we have a chance to influence decisions about future hydropower development in a basin that is almost entirely undeveloped today. It's like working in the Penobscot, but in 1750. Here you can see an image of the very complicated river channel in the lower Ogwe. This is a place where forest elephants still roam the lush banks and swim in the river, and where fish markets provide the daily calories to people who live in the basin. We're working in all of these basins as part of the Great Rivers Partnership. The Great Rivers Partnership was founded in 2005 by Michael Reuter and Diane Rudin, and through the GRP, we're finding new ways to work with partners in important places like the Mekong River in Southeast Asia, and building this practice area on hydropower, and also on floodplains. China has become the leading funder and developer of hydropower worldwide, and so our work on the Yangtze, which has been led by Zhu Le, Chayu Guo, and David Harrison, that work is now providing an important foundation for engaging with Chinese hydropower companies and helping move them towards more sustainable policies and practices.